Hello and welcome back to another movie review. As always, I'm Kelly, and I just got out of Demon Slayer, the movie, Mugen Train, or however they want that title to be said. And yes, I did whip out another one of my cosplays. Unfortunately, it's from Bleach. I don't have the Demon Slayer ones. Look, it's on the to-buy list, but I've got many other things I gotta pay for first. And in case you're curious as whether or not I actually have some of the swords, currently with me, I only got this one. 10 points if you know its name. Put it in the comments. But Bleach isn't why we're here to talk. Tonight we are talking about Demon Slayer and whether or not this movie is amazing, which is self-evident. This movie's amazing. It's got great action, it's got great comedy, it's got great feels. I mean, this movie is everything you want from a Demon Slayer movie. And it's in canon, so even if you don't think you need to see it, you really do. Pretty much everything that happens in this movie has lasting effects for the rest of the series. This movie is essentially the actual Season 2, other than the actual Season 2 we're getting in October. But before we talk about the movie, I should mention about the actual series itself. Because if you go into this movie completely blind, it's possible to enjoy it, but you're missing out so much context that really it's a crime. So let's talk about the first season first, as you can see perfectly right there. Demon Slayer isn't anything really innovative when it comes to, action shonen anime. It's your pretty much basic standard samurais versus evil monsters. In Bleach, they were fighting hollows. In this, they're fighting demons that act more like vampires with magic powers. That's all. The two things that make Demon Slayer stand out as far as a series, or in the case of this movie, are its overwhelmingly amazing animation and the characters that inhabit it. Everything in Tanjiro, the main character's backstory, basically sets him up to be a character that should be very angsty and angry, very Bleach-like. But he's just not. He's sympathetic, he's understanding, and while he doesn't hesitate to decapitate a demon, when they feel true regret when they die, he's willing to throw his hand out to even the worst enemies and say, it's gonna be okay. He's a very optimistic character, and frankly, a much nicer shonen protagonist than we probably have had in a good decade. And Tanjiro is not a one-off. Pretty much every character in Demon Slayer exudes this level of depth. Even Nezuko, his little sister, whose entire selling point is pretty much that she can't speak. Whether they seemingly be one-off joke characters or the main cast, everyone's got a story in this series, and it is fucking beautiful. But the good character writing only goes so far. What makes this series so freaking amazing is its visual style, which is definitely carried over in this movie. Every attack looks like a goddamn work of art. Whether it be all the different elementals coming off of the sword play that's in play here, the fire, the water, the lightning, where it's all just animated slightly different from everything else. Much like the old traditional Japanese paintings, like, the one with the waves, I'll put a picture of it there. That's pretty much what every strike from Tanjiro looks like in this movie. But all of that is blended so seamlessly with action choreography that would make any martial arts movie in the real world blush for how realistic it looks. Everything has weight, everything has impact, and everything sounds beautifully perfect. When this series is disgusting, it's disgusting. When this is supposed to be action-packed and awesome, it's action-packed and awesome. Long story short, Demon Slayer is just the perfect action anime. And this movie is essentially that. With a couple of hiccups, narratively speaking. But that's mostly because this was meant to be a TV series. Yeah, it's very understandable why they essentially took Season 2 and put it in a movie. There wasn't too much to work with there, and if they had put it in the anime, it probably would have only lasted 6, 7 episodes. 8 if they're really pushing it with filler stuff. So condensing it into a 2-hour movie makes sense and makes the action a lot more punchy and, impactful. But by doing that, certain things that should have been fleshed out weren't quite as fleshed out, and things that just happen kind of seemingly come out of nowhere, whereas in a movie sense, you probably should have set that up a little bit. But in order to elaborate on that, I have to go into a little bit more detail, so from here on out, there's going to be spoilers. If you want just my overall thoughts without the spoilers, here's the time code to skip to. For everyone else, let's move on to the good. And starting off the good section proper, I'll just mention it again, this movie looks fucking awesome. there's no denying that Ufotable isn't bringing their A games. And this is pretty much what Ufotable does. They put so much goddamn money and time and effort into every single shot of their animation, especially in the action sense, that they've pretty much gained the nickname of Unlimited Budget Works. Every flip, every kick, every sword slash, every single particle effect, when water is just showing up off of a sword, forming a dragon, it all looks goddamn beautiful. But good animation can only get you so far, so to support it and make it even better, they have a good story. The story of the movie is pretty simple. It takes place right at the end of season 1 where they all get on board the Mugen Train. There's a demon here and they need to exterminate it before it kills everyone on the train. But this demon is a little bit more clever in that it tries to attack these demon slayers through their dreams. So you get a lot of Freddy Krueger-esque shenanigans on board this train, and I can tell you for a fun fact, they are both hilarious and terrifying. Both in the case of Zenitsu's dream. But the dream aspect really does add a level of depth to pretty much everyone's characters, but especially Tanjiro, where they dive deep into his trauma and how it's actually affecting him, and how he needs to get beyond that in order to grow as a person. But if there's one character who stands above all the rest inside of this movie, it's Rengoku, the Hashira that the others are supporting in this mission. And by God, is he 10 levels of badass that are amazing. He is a little quirky, and I will admit in the dub he's not the best voiced, but I actually say that's more of a script problem. Rengoku never got really any characterization in the series, so pretty much everything that's in this movie is all you know about him. Yet by the end of it, you feel like you know everything you need to know about him. He's not perfect. He has a lot of troubles in his own home life, yet he doesn't let that stop him or hold him back, even when he's under attack and near death. Also, just going back to the animation, every time he swings his fiery sword, god damn does my theater just light up. But with all that said, we do have to talk about some of the negative aspects, and probably the biggest negative aspect is the villain, Enmu. And yes, the villain was so unmemorable I had to actually double check to see what his name was. While this demon's power is undeniably very strong and visually appealing, the demon himself is one note at best. Which makes sense in the context of a series, because this was essentially season 2 and this was just supposed to be another demon they fought along the way. He's not one of the big bads, he's a stepping stone there. However, from the aspect of a movie, it does leave him lacking. He has no real mythos, while he does seem to get off on killing people in their dreams by showing them something very happy and then very terrible. I mean, compare him to the other dream killer that we know, Freddy Krueger. Krueger is sadistic, he's playful, he'll let you get an edge just so he can take that out from under you. He had a motivation, he had a personality. Enmu, not really. He's just there. Occasionally he'll pontificate on the top of the train and speak poetically, which didn't translate to very poetic in English. Again, his design is creepy. His actual abilities, and when he goes full centipede monster, it's very, very creepy and amazing and visually appealing. It's just that him as a character is lacking and drags the movie down quite a bit. And it's honestly no wonder that one of the surprise twists in this movie is that another bigger, badder demon shows up pretty much in the third act without any, build-up at all to give us our big climactic action scene. And I'm not dissing that action scene. Like, no joke, when Upper 3 shows up and just wrecks shit against Rengoku, it's one of the best things I think I've seen in film, period. But there's no denying that if you haven't seen all of the series or read all of the manga, you have no idea who this guy is. You don't even know he has a name. Him just showing up out of nowhere is pretty much, who the fuck is this guy? And again, in the context of this being season 2 of this series, that'd be fine because we'll have an entire season to flesh that out. But in the context of a movie, I probably would have gone with having a scene at the beginning, like from the actual series, where Enmu is given the blood and told to go on this quest and kill things, but have it cut to the shadows where Muzen's ordering this guy to keep an eye on Lower One just to make sure everything goes according to plan. Just establish that he's there, even if we don't necessarily see him. And it feels like a shame because if you added a little more context to that moment, even though it is very impactful and will have repercussions across the entire series of Demon Slayer from here on out, it would have had a little bit more of an impact, especially since this is a movie and not an actual TV series. Also, Nezuko doesn't get to do much. She has one funny scene that's slightly changed from the way it happened in the manga, and that's it. I wish there was more of her in here, but really, I know what comes next, so I can understand why they were saving it. But with all of that said, it's pretty obvious. I recommend that you go see this movie. It is amazing. It's glorious. It's heavy-duty impactful. It'll make you cry in scenes, probably. I don't know. It depends on how attached you are to the characters. There is a reason that it is Japan's highest-grossing movie of all time. It is just that fucking good. And my personal recommendation is this is an easy must-see. And probably the first must-see that I've said all year. Seriously, go see it. But with that said, if you want the full impact of how amazing this movie is, just watch Demon Slayer. It's on Netflix. It's on Crunchyroll. It's on Funimation. There's probably a few other sites that I'm, missing, but it's on all of them. Just go watch it. It's amazing. It's 26 episodes of pure bliss, and then you get to enjoy this movie on top of that. What more can you ask for? And that's it from me. Have you enjoyed the video? Have you seen the Mugen Train movie? Tell me what you thought about it in the comments down below. Let's get some healthy discussion going. And as always, if you like what you saw, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that stuff that helps this channel grow. Also, I do stream on this channel every single Thursday night, as well as stream on my Twitch channel whenever I have a day off. Links are in the description below. And yeah, that's it for me, so I'll see you guys next time. And hopefully we get a few more of these anime movies along the way.